Welcome everybody to this Cabinet meeting this evening. I'd like to remind everyone that the meeting is being live streamed to YouTube. Can I ask if there are any apologies or members joining remotely?
Thank you, Chair. I've received apologies from Councillors Temperton, Jeffreys and Neil, and all other members are joining in the room.
Thank you. Item 2 is declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest? None. We'll move on to item 3, which is the minutes. Are there any matters arising or points of accuracy that anybody would like to make? None. Then I propose that the minutes are adopted as a correct record. Could I have a seconder, please?
Councillor Bailey, I'm happy to second.
Thank you. And all those that vote in favour? That's unanimous. Thank you. Item 4 is urgent items of business. Are there any urgent items of business this evening? No,
none notified.
Thank you. So we move on then to item 5, which is the Corporate Parenting Strategy 2025-2028. Can I ask Councillor Bailey, Cabinet Member for Children and Young People, to present the report?
Yes, thank you, Chair. This report seeks the approval of renewed corporate parenting strategy for the period 2025 to 2028. As a Cabinet Member responsible, I emphasise the alignment of the renewed strategy with the Council Plan priorities. The report recommends that the Cabinet approves the corporate parenting strategy. The strategy has been developed with the comprehensive involvement from children and young people in our care. The strategy aims to embed the corporate parenting duty under the Children and Social Work Act of 2017 as a responsibility of every officer and elected member. The strategy will drive a culture of fostering Bracknell Forest Council's commitment to supporting children and young people in our care. It is consistent with our borough's priorities in that children have quality education and opportunities to fulfil their potential. Moreover, every child should be safe as they grow up, where support puts family first. The recommendations are that we approve the corporate parenting strategy from 2025 to 28, an action plan, and to recommend to full council that care experience is recognised as a protected characteristic. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Gráinne Siggins, Executive Director for People. Do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, just to thank everybody who's actually contributed to the development of the corporate parenting strategy. As outlined by Councillor Bailey, this is a critical and really important strategy for the council, outlining our real commitment to supporting our children looked after and our care leavers. There's been a comprehensive process for developing the draft strategy. Detailed consultation that's taken place to get further thoughts and inputs, and it was an attempt to be as ambitious as we could be to support our care leavers and our children in care. So really, just to further outline the pledges that were made as part of that process and the development of the detailed action plan, which we will proactively monitor. There is significant oversight going to be provided through the corporate parenting governance route within the council and also Councillor Bailey. So again, just support the process and acknowledge all the contributions from a whole range of people, including our children looked after and care leavers as part of that process. Thank you.
Thank you, Gráinne. Any questions? Yep.
Thank you. I've got a question, and apologies if this was asked in the briefing, but I wasn't at the briefing. When we looked at reading this, it's a fantastic document, and I think there's a really strong message here about how we as councillors are responsible for children under our care. And I remember Mary Temperton, our leader, saying it would be really lovely to have some nice, clear messages to our children about our responsibility to them. And I just wondered if there was any plan to do that. I mean, she had an idea of having a banner and as you walked into the council offices and various ideas like that. So I was just wondering if there'd been any follow-up on that.
So in terms of the discussions that need to take place, I think it's been really clear about what that commitment means. So in terms of some of the detail that's going to be worked up, number one, does every councillor understand what it means for them? So whilst it's covered as part of the councillor induction, just speaking to other councillors, it may not be really clear about what those duties and responsibilities mean for them. So it's something that's been identified as part of the process, that we do need very simple, detailed communications and some unique ways of actually being really clear with care leavers, but also councillors and council officers understanding what they mean for them. It's covered within the high-level actions in the action plan.
Any further questions? No, Councillor Bailey, can I ask you to move recommendations, please, from 3.1 to 3.2 on page 11?
Yes, Chair, I'm happy to move those recommendations. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I get a seconder?
Yes, Chair, I'm happy to second. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Bailey, would you like to speak?
Yes, I would. Thank you, Chair. I'm pleased and proud to present this strategy, which reflects the Council's commitment to ensuring the best possible outcomes for our children and young people in care and leaving care. It outlines how we, as corporate parents, will work together to provide the support, opportunities and care that every child and young person deserves. We are dedicated to listening to their voices, understanding their needs and making decisions that put their well-being and future first. By working collaboratively across the Council and with external partners, we can put every child at the core of everything we do. In developing this strategy, extensive feedback from children looked after and care leavers was integral to shaping the pledges and priorities. A primary mechanism for gathering input was the group called SILSIP, which is Say It Loud and Say It Proud, which hosts the Bracknell Big Ballot each year, allowing young people to voice their feedback on the issues they feel are most important for the Council to focus on. I meet regularly with members of SILSIP and can attest to their insights and forthright observations. Additionally, the Care Leavers Council organises regular meet and eat events, providing care leavers with the opportunity to share their experiences and engage directly with personal advisors and managers. A set of draft pledges were taken to both forums, where children and young people in care offered feedback and insight into what they felt was important for the Council to commit as corporate parents. And just briefly, what is meant by corporate parents. The Children and Social Work Act of 2017 says that when a child or young person comes into care of the local authority or is under 25 and was looked after by the authority for at least 13 weeks after their 14th birthday, the authority, which means all officers and elected members, becomes their corporate parent. This means that they, or we, should act in the best interest, promote the physical and mental well-being of those children and young people, encourage them to express their views, wishes and feelings, and take them into account, while promoting high aspirations and trying to secure the best outcomes for them. Make sure they have access to services, make sure that they are safe with stable home lives, relationships, education or work, and to prepare them for adulthood and independent living. This is an important strategy and I commend it to the Cabinet. Thank you.
Thank you. Would the seconder like to speak?
Thank you, Chair. I'd just like to echo what Councillor Bailey has said and just read a quote here from the Local Government Association, which I think makes it very clear. Every councillor and officer within a council has a responsibility to act for those children and young people as a parent would for their own child. Lead members, those on the Corporate Parenting Advocacy Panel and Overview and Scrutiny Committees will have particular responsibilities. But for all councillors, this is where your role as the eyes and ears of the community is particularly important. So I'm more than happy to second this motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Would any other member like to speak? Councillor Gilby?
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to speak in support of the recommendations. This strategy is a clear and thoughtful statement on what it means to be a corporate parent, and more importantly, how we intend to fulfil that role. It reminds us that corporate parenting isn't a job title or a meeting, it's a shared responsibility. Every councillor, every officer, every service, we all have a part to play. What stands out most is how clear this strategy has been shaped by the voices of children and young people themselves. The pledges are not just abstract ideals, They reflect real practical needs. Things like knowing who to contact, having a say, getting support with the basics of life. The feedback is honest and the response is respectful and clear. I also welcome the emphasis on accountability. The action plan gives the pledges weight, and the reporting mechanisms will allow young people and all of us to see where progress is being made and where more is needed. That kind of transparency builds trust. This is a whole council strategy, and rightly so. It asks us to work differently, to think across silos, and to embed this duty into everyday decisions. That's a challenge, but it's a sign of a council that's serious about doing the right thing. I'm pleased to support it, Chair.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to speak? I would just like to say that this strategy is a remarkable piece of work which has been comprehensively consulted on, and that consultation took on the views of the children looked after and the care leavers impacted. It is also clear that the strategy has been written heavily incorporating their responses. I would also just like to express how much I welcome Bracknell Forest recognising care leavers and the children looked after as a protected characteristic, ensuring that future decisions that this council makes will not hinder their chance to thrive. Okay, if we now take a vote, all those in favour? Sum up. Sorry, would you like to sum up?
Yes, Councillor Bailey again. I don't think I've got anything further to add. It's all been said. I commend it wholeheartedly. Thank you.
Now let's vote. Those in favour? Thank you. Our next item on the agenda, item 6, is the Asset Management Strategy 2025 to 2030. And can I ask Councillor Bidwell, Cabinet Member for the Economy and Regeneration, to present the report?
Yes, you can. Thank you, Chair. The Asset Management Strategy, or the AMS as we like to call it, sets out Bracknell Forest Council's plan to manage its property assets over the next 5 years. These assets, valued at £588 million, are critical to delivering public services, driving regeneration, supporting sustainability, and improving financial resilience. The strategy aligns with wider council goals, engaged and healthy communities, a thriving economy, and a green, sustainable environment. However, the overarching aim is the efficient and effective management of assets to meet council's priorities, support decarbonisation, enhance community well-being, and bolster financial sustainability, with key guiding principles that include achieving net zero by 2030, supporting community engagement and health, stimulating regeneration and inward investment, ensuring safety, compliance and efficient use, and balancing financial return with social value. These are supported by 6 core priorities. 1, asset management planning. That means an active lifestyle management of assets, including acquisition, maintenance, and disposal. 2, policies. These would include transparent policies for acquisition, letting, arrears, and disposals. Team development. Point 3, investing in a skilled in-house property team. 4, data and systems, leveraging a central database to streamline reporting and reporting and compliance. 5, strategic projects, regeneration, SEND school expansion, and carbon reduction. And finally, governance, oversight through a corporate landlord model and strategic programme board. This strategy responds to national trends, that's e.g. Legislative changes, decarbonisation goals, local pressures like ageing infrastructure, demographic growth and economic shifts, and financial challenges, the need for self-sufficiency through smarter asset use. Regarding asset portfolio, assets fall into 2 categories and have always been of interest to residents and members alike. Operational assets are schools, libraries, care homes, depots and community centres. Non-operational assets, retail units, industrial estates, investment properties and strategic development sites. The AMS outlines tailored strategies for each asset type, whether to retain, co-locate, dispose or repurpose to maximize value and service delivery. The planned implementation timeline, the strategy will be rolled out in phases through to 2030 with annual reviews, policy rollouts and midpoint evaluations to ensure alignment with evolving council priorities. This strategy is central to how Bracknell Forest Council will maintain final resilience, deliver modern services and create thriving places for residents. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I now ask Sarah Varley, Assistant Director for Property, if they have anything further to add?
Thank you very much, Chair. I think Councillor Bidwell has done a very comprehensive job of explaining why we have drafted this strategy and its key elements. The only thing I'd like to add is how we developed it. We developed the asset management strategy in my team, in my property team, and we did this by extensive consultation with all our operational leads and services, followed by a peer review of all our assistant directors who gave us very comprehensive feedback. And then our own corporate management team provided additional feedback, which we have tried to incorporate fully into the final strategy document that you see before you today. We've also received Councillor Bidwell's feedback and adopted some amends that he asked for, which means that I think it's been widely consulted across all stakeholders internal to our processes and those stakeholders who use our assets and those that rely on our assets for financial resilience of the council. So I just wanted to give you an overview of how we got to the stage we are at now, which has been over many months, probably about 10 or 11 months now in development.
Thank you. Any questions for Sarah? No? Okay. Can I ask, therefore, Councillor Bidwell to move recommendations 3.1 and 3.2 on page 51?
Thank you. I'd like to formally propose the acceptance of Bracknell Forest Council's asset management strategy for 2025 to 2030. It's built around a strong central aim to manage our property assets effectively and efficiently, ensuring they deliver on our council's priorities, including, as I've already said, net zero by 2020 or 2020-30? Sorry?
2020-30,
Yeah.
Councillor Bidwell.
Okay. Oh, sorry, Sharon, I'd just like to move it then.
Can I get a seconder? Thank you. Would you like to speak, Councillor Bidwell?
Now's the time. Now's the time. Shall I carry on? Right, okay. The strategy is built around a strong central aim to manage our property assets effectively and efficiently, ensuring they deliver on our council's priorities, including achieving net zero by 2030, regenerating our neighbourhoods, and enabling vital services from health to education. Importantly, this strategy doesn't just deal with buildings, it focuses on people. By rationalising, repurposing, and in some cases releasing assets, we can invest in what truly matters: accessible community facilities, sustainable schools, affordable housing, and inclusive neighbourhoods. It also introduces stronger governance through the corporate landlord model and ensures our decisions are informed by accurate data, clear policy, and performance monitoring. This is not just a paper exercise. The implementation is already underway. It is self-funding through targeted disposals and supported by professional development, smarter systems, and partnership that add value. This strategy is not just only sound in its ambition, it is also deliverable. I'd like to thank the asset management team for this excellent report and ask for your support in approving its adoption. Thank you.
Thank you. Would the seconder like to speak?
Thank you, Chair. I'm happy to second. This document does something important. It takes what could easily be seen as a purely technical matter, our portfolio of land and buildings, and connects it directly to the Council's wider ambitions from regeneration, decarbonisation, public health, education and financial resilience. What's being proposed here is not a one-off plan, but a strategic framework that will guide how we manage, invest in and make decisions about our assets over the next 5 years. That kind of long-term thinking is essential, especially in a climate where every square metre and every decision carries more weight. The principles are the right ones, ensuring our buildings are safe, efficient and fit for purpose, using our assets to support community wellbeing and inward investment, and aligning everything we do with our net zero goals. These aren't just aspirations, they are embedded in the way the strategy will be delivered, reviewed and held to account. As the Assistant Director touched on, I welcome the way this strategy has been developed, with genuine engagement across the Council's services to ensure it reflects operational needs, not just policy intentions. And while the document sets the direction, it leaves space for detailed asset management plans to follow, allowing us to adapt and respond without losing focus. In short, this strategy puts the Council in a stronger position to use its assets not just effectively, but purposefully. I'm pleased to support it.
Thank you. Would any other member like to speak? Just wanted to say that it's incredibly important that we have a strategy to manage our assets, especially in the current climate and the financial pressures that we face. This strategy is well thought out and clearly aligns with many strands of our council plan. Councillor Biddle, would you like to sum up?
Yeah, I won't add more than I've already said, except that this is a vital part of the economic strategy. And what I'm really looking forward to is being able to understand how we can maximise our assets and balance potential revenue with potential services. And I'm really looking forward to how this then morphs into regeneration of our neighbourhoods, which hasn't been happening for a long time. So I urge you all to support it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So if we all vote then, those in favour? Thank you. That's unanimous. Item 7, the Council Plan Overview Report Q4. On behalf of Mary, I'm going to, Councillor Templeton, I'm going to introduce this report this evening, and then I will ask Chief Executive to add anything. So we outlined an ambitious set of goals in the 2023 to 2027 Council Plan, and this report plays a vital role in ensuring we remain on course to achieve them. It allows us to celebrate our successes while also identifying areas where challenges persist and further attention is needed. The report provides a comprehensive overview of our progress through 2024 to 25, and I would like to extend my sincere thanks to everyone who contributed to its delivery. Key highlights from this quarter include securing the funding for Phase 2 of the South East Fostering Hub, launching a collaborative effort to develop a new community strategy, approval and adoption of the Town Centre Master Plan and supplementary planning document, planting over 7,700 young native trees in local green spaces, and launching a new online complaint system. In addition, public consultation on the Council's climate change strategy has commenced, following extensive community engagement and feedback. The strategy and its accompanying delivery plan are now ready for Council endorsement. These achievements reflect our ongoing commitment to supporting local children, addressing climate change, enhancing borough infrastructure and green spaces, and improving services for our residents. Looking ahead, we face the challenge of delivering even more with limited resources. A key priority will be reducing the overspend on services for children with special educational needs. We must also manage growing demand across both children's and adult services while addressing delays to the Forest View Academy School for Autistic Children, delays that have arisen due to external government factors. If I could you please ask Susan Hannawell, Chief Executive, if you'd like to add anything.
Thank you very much, Chair. I would just like to comment that this has gone through Overview and Scrutiny Committee, and so within the report are a series of actions that were taken away from Overview and Scrutiny. In particular, the resolution for the Commission to receive the inspection report on the building control service. Now, this has been a risk that has been highlighted throughout the year, that we have found it very difficult to recruit the suitably qualified building control officers, and that is to do with the changes in the regulatory system and the additional requirements that are laid upon the particular roles in terms of qualifications. So it's a national issue. It's not bespoke to us, but the Commission has sought to receive that inspection report just to see if they can add any value into how we respond to that. So just raising that to your attention, and also just to remind councillors that this is the last report in this form, as we're going to transition to a new reporting mechanism. So the information is going to be displayed in a different format. And again, the Overview and Scrutiny Commission asked if they could have sight of that before it's published, which is absolutely fine. And it will then be an evolution. So the whole purpose of the presentation of the new reports will be that they are more accessible. We won't get it right first time, but we will make sure that we will continue to evolve it, and it's more adaptable. It's a more adaptable system, so we'll be able to respond to any feedback we get there. The final comment is that we had reported significant budget challenges throughout the year. I'm very pleased to say that we have been able to manage those with the various management interventions that we applied during the course of the year. The final report will be at Cabinet next month, but it's captured within this report as well that we're in a much better financial position at the end of the financial year with an underspend. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Has anybody got any questions? No? Then I will move the recommendation on page 91, recommendation 3.1 on page 91. Could I have a seconder, please?
Councillor Bailey, I'm happy to second.
Thank you. I would like to take a moment to highlight some of the incredible achievements that this council has made over the past year. Our leader's desire was to take the council to the people, and I truly believe that this is what we've been doing. Public consultations are the way for our residents to make their mark on policies and decisions. Not only do we provide online surveys, but we go to events, we have pop-up stands, and we actively encourage residents to get involved. We've consulted on the climate change strategy, Bracknell Town Centre master plan, supplementary planning document, local transport plan, the community safety plan, and the draft council budget, to name but a few. But we go further than just the words, because we have shown that we listen, and we've done all that we can to take residents' opinions, suggestions and objections on board. The number of our young people accessing youth clubs, specialist groups and other activities has increased by a truly impressive 49%. We said that we would support our younger community, give them a safe space to make friends and grow, and we are delivering. The council has formally adopted the economic strategy and town centre master plans, both designed to strengthen the local economy and support the ongoing regeneration of Bracknell Town Centre. The second annual Bracknell Forest Climate Change Summit took place in July, with over 150 representatives from across the borough coming together to start the development of a community climate change strategy. Climate change summits were also facilitated for primary and secondary schools, engaging 20 schools and almost 100 pupils. And as Chief Executive said, the latest indications are that the potential overspend reported in the early part of the year has been reversed, and a modest underspend is now expected. We, of course, have challenges like any authority, for example, the high demand on our adults and childcare services. But what this report shows is that we are working incredibly hard to combat these challenges and make a real difference to the lives of those who live in the borough. Can I ask the seconder if they would like to speak?
Yes, thank you, Chair. I'm happy to second the recommendation that we note the performance of the Council over the period from January to March 2025, highlighted in the overview report in Annex A, This includes reviewing any recommendations made by the Overview and Scrutiny Annex B. There have been many significant achievements highlighted in this overview report, many of which are covered in my own portfolio. I'll mention just 2 of them. First, the completion and opening of the Launchpad, a specialist resource provision for SEND children at Sandhurst School. I was present at the launch and was struck by its quality and space, and delighted to hear the effusive comments from staff, pupils and governors. Second, the backlog for education, health and care needs assessment, cleared by the statutory SEND team in autumn 2024, maintaining a 0 backlog into spring 2025, both very commendable achievements. This is an important report and I'm happy to second it. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to speak? No. So to sum up, we're doing really well and we need to keep going. I can ask for a vote. All those in favour? Thank you, that's unanimous. We'll then move on, and the rest of these items are supported by annexes containing exempt information. So it would be possible at this point for us to exclude the press and the public. As always, we don't want to do that. But if anybody chooses to discuss the content of any of these annexes in detail, then we may have to choose to move the resolution detailed in the agenda and close the meeting. Okay, item 8 is simpler recycling, and I once again will introduce this report. The introduction of a curbside glass collection service marks a significant step forward for residents of this borough, many of whom have long requested such a service. This initiative expands our recycling options, and I encourage everyone to continue their excellent efforts to further improve our recycling rates. Bracknell Forest Council has received extended producer responsibility funding from the government to help support the financial costs associated with launching this service. We are hopeful this funding stream will continue to ease the financial impact moving forward. Currently, residents already recycle approximately 75% of the glass used in the borough, a truly commendable achievement. While the additional collection service does come with costs, we are committed to working with DEFRA to ensure they fully understand our local context. However, with the funding in place and new government legislation requiring curbside collection for various recycling streams, we are obliged to implement this service. We believe this initiative will not only boost overall recycling rates, but will also help reduce general waste, an outcome that benefits the entire community. I therefore fully support the recommendations outlined in this paper. Can I ask Damien James if he has anything further to add?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Just a very brief note to say that we're very fortunate in Bracknell Forest Council to have an experienced waste and recycling team who have rolled out previous significant service changes. We've got a long lead time for this service before it goes live in autumn 2026, and as such I'm very confident that we will resolve the operational complexities and have a service that offers a simple and simpler way to recycle glass within the borough and complies with the legislation that we have before us. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Has anyone any questions of the officer? No. I will then move recommendation 3.1, 3.2 and 3.3 on page 139. Can I have a seconder, please?
Thank you, Chair. I'm happy to second.
Thank you. I firmly believe that the recommendations in this report are the right way for Bracknell Forest to comply with the simpler recycling legislation at this time. We have to move forward at a pace that works for us financially and, more importantly, our residents. This has not been a snap decision. Hours have been spent poring over the pros and cons of each and every option. However, the decision ultimately comes down to the legislation and what we are required to do. Simpler recycling is a statutory requirement, so failure to be compliant will constitute a breach of the Council's statutory duties as set out in the Environment Act 2021 and the subsequent guidance. The risks of doing so threaten to damage more than just our finances. We are not a council that fails to abide by statutory legislation. We have chosen to collect the glass in a separate container. This is not us choosing the easy option, but we are avoiding the monumental capital improvement costs at our mixed recycling facility in Reading associated with commingling, which the funding simply would not cover. The path we have chosen is fully costed, and extended producer responsibility funding is part of the 2025-26 budget. We will of course support households with limited storage or particular needs, and a cross-party working group will be established in the autumn to ensure that these needs are met. Communication will be provided to each household well in advance of autumn 26 so that everybody is aware of the change. Thank you. Would the seconder like to speak?
Thank you, Chair. Just really to say that I know it's been Damien James and his team worked really hard to try and find a solution. We were early adopters of recycling, and when you speak to residents, they're very positive about recycling. They're very keen to do it. And in being early adopters, we're now in this situation where it's going to be a struggle to add in glass as curbside. And I think this is the best solution we could have come to. It's really good to see. What I would love to see next is that you can actually leave out your jars and get refills. So not just milk bottles, but, you know, everything. And so that wine bottles, the works, rather than sending them off to be melted down and using loads of energy. So yeah, I'm more than happy to second this and like to see more. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anybody like to speak?
Thank you, Chair. This report sets out a clear and necessary step for the Council, one that responds directly to national legislation, local demand and our own commitment to improving environmental outcomes. Introducing curbside glass collection is a statutory requirement under simpler recycling, and while there are costs involved, there are also direct benefits for residents. Many have asked for this service over the years, and the ability to recycle glass at home is both more convenient and more inclusive, particularly for those who cannot easily travel to glass banks. The proposal we have in front of us is grounded in practicality. It takes into account the vehicle lead times, the logistical challenges of distributing bins, and the need for clear, accessible communication with every household. The service design also makes space for flexibility in how we support households with limited storage or particular needs. Financially, this approach is the most viable of the options considered. The separate collection model avoids the much higher infrastructure costs associated with commingling, and we are making full use of the funding streams provided through extended producer responsibility. These have been specifically allocated by government to support compliance with this legislation, and we are using them exactly as intended. In summary, this is a sensible, structured response to a national change, delivered in a way that supports residents, protects our budget and improves the accessibility of recycling in Bracknell Forest. I'm happy to support the recommendations.
Thank you, Chair. Well, I'd like to really endorse what my colleague said about future ambitions to have wine being refilled on your doorstep. That would be, although that would be pleasant, I could see some problems coming with that. But what I wanted to say was that this is long overdue. It's important we do this. And I know that Damien's team has taken a long time to come up with the right solution. And I hope, and I've got a strong feeling that because of that work, that the solution will be implemented seamlessly and we'll have a very happy set of residents. So I support this.
Thank you. So to sum up, this is an important decision which will affect every household in the borough. And I can assure you that we have pored over the papers, asked the relevant questions, and only them can come to this conclusion. I urge my fellow Cabinet members to support the recommendations. If we could please vote. Those in favour? Thank you, that's unanimous. Item 9, bus shelter provision and maintenance strategic procurement plan. Can I ask Councillor Gilby, Cabinet Member for Planning, Transport and Countryside, to present the report?
Thank you, Chair. Colleagues, this item relates to the provision and maintenance of bus shelters across the borough. The Council currently has 130 shelters in place through a concession contract, which is due to expire in March 2026. The proposal before us sets out a plan to procure a new concession arrangement to ensure continuity beyond that date. The new contract would require the supplier to install and maintain shelters at no cost to the Council. In return, the supplier would retain the right to display and charge for advertising within the shelters. The contract is proposed for a 15-year period with an option to extend by a further 10 years. This reflects the typical lifespan of the shelters and supports a viable commercial offer to the market. As part of the process, there will be scope to improve the quality and accessibility of shelters. This may include features such as solar-powered lighting within the shelters to improve visibility and safety for passengers, as well as the use of sustainable materials or green roof options, subject to the responses received through the tender. This approach aims to maintain the current level of provision while exploring opportunities to enhance the shelter stock over time without creating a cost pressure for the Council. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I ask Neil Matthews, Assistant Director of Highways and Transport, if they have anything further to add?
Thank you, Chair. As Councillor Gilby has outlined, supporting growth in bus patronage is key to the delivery of the borough's local transport plan. And in a recent survey, over 47% of residents said that the quality of bus shelters is key and would influence their decision in using the bus. So bringing these shelters up to date and improving that user experience is really important. And this contract will assist in that. Nothing further to add, but happy to take any questions arising from the report.
Thank you. Any questions? I've got.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, this is a great move. I have looked, but I can't find. I mean, the key word there was user experience, and all the good things you've said are excellent. But as part of that, will you have any electronic display timetables in the bus shelters so people know when the buses are coming and how near they are?
Yes, Chair. The bus shelters we have at the moment are, in some cases, over 25 years old. So what you see in them will be what we had 25 years ago, which would just be paper timetables within sort of plastic boxes. New shelters will provide all of those opportunities, so from, as Councillor Gilby's outlined, from solar lighting to illumination of timetables or electronic display showing. It's very much down to what is proposed by the suppliers, but there will definitely be some significant improvements.
Thank you. I just had a quick question with regards to sort of health in all policies, and there are some national campaigns against advertising for fast food at bus stops because of the influence it has on people's diets, and I was just wondering if that has been taken into consideration at all. Thank you.
Yes, Chair, it is a factor that we're aware of. There are no regulations preventing the advertisement of fast foods within bus shelters, but we recognise the importance of getting that right balance. So as this is a concession contract, we will be seeking opportunities presented to us from the market. And as part of that, we will, within the specification, be asking for suppliers to tell us how they can accord with that approach and that consideration so that we can take that into account when looking at the opportunities and deciding which one is best.
Thank you.
Thank you. If there's no more questions, can I ask for the recommendation on page 157 to be moved, please?
Councillor Gilby, I so move.
And can I have a seconder?
Councillor Wright, I'm happy to second.
Thank you. Would the mover like to speak?
Thank Thank you, Chair. I'm pleased to formally propose the recommendations set out in this report. This is a clear example of the Council finding a practical, cost-effective solution to a real-world challenge, maintaining a key piece of local infrastructure without placing additional pressure on our budget. Bus shelters matter. They are part of what makes public transport viable, especially for older residents, young people, and anyone who depends on the bus as a reliable daily option. If we want people to choose the bus, we need to make that choice as comfortable as we reasonably can. The current contract is coming to an end, and the cost of buying and maintaining new shelters ourselves is simply not sustainable. We're talking about an investment that could easily run into the millions, capital we don't have and ongoing maintenance costs we can't justify. The model proposed here, a concession arrangement where provider installs and maintains the shelters in exchange for advertising rights, is the right approach. It's low risk, cost neutral to the council, and gives us the chance to improve the shelter stock across the borough. We'll be able to specify key improvements from accessibility to solar powered lighting and potentially more environmentally friendly designs, while ensuring continuity for users and commercial viability for the market. This is about getting the basics right. It supports our local transport plan, aligns with our climate and accessibility ambitions, and delivers a better experience for our residents without calling on public funds. I commend the recommendations to Cabinet and hope they will receive support. Thank you.
Thank you. Would the seconder like to speak?
Thank you, Chair. I'm pleased to second the recommendations. The proposal takes a straightforward and practical approach to an issue that affects residents across the borough. It ensures continued provision of bus shelters while allowing for improvements in quality, accessibility and design, all without requiring direct council funding. It supports our broader aims around sustainable transport and public infrastructure, and I believe it's a sensible step forward. I support the recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. Would any other member like to speak? No, just to say that this seems like a really sensible way forward, and I'm looking forward to some maybe unique and innovative new bus shelters coming our way. Would the mover like to sum up?
Only that we'll have to get our thinking hats on. I'm not sure what you're after, Deputy Leader. Bus shelters that break out into song every 5 minutes, a karaoke display. Well, that could get people coming along on the buses, I suppose, wouldn't it? But nothing further, Chair.
Thank you. Let's vote. All those in favour? And that's unanimous. Okay, item 10, the electric vehicle charge points to strategic procurement plan. Councillor Gilby, Cabinet Member for Planning, Transport and Countryside, could you please present the report?
Thank you, Chair. The Council currently operates a small number of public charging sockets, mainly in car parks. However, with more residents making the switch to electric vehicles, the need for accessible charging infrastructure in residential streets is increasing, particularly for those without access to private driveways. This report outlines a proposal to procure a concession contract with a private supplier. Under the terms of the proposed arrangement, the supplier would install, manage and maintain a minimum of 400 charge points, with no capital or ongoing cost to the Council. Revenue would be generated by the supplier through the usage of the charge points. The proposal reflects the approach set out in the Council's electric vehicle strategy and is supported by national funding through the local electric vehicle infrastructure programme. This contract aims to provide certainty to residents considering the move to electric vehicles while ensuring that the infrastructure is accessible, appropriately located and maintained over the long term. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I please ask Neil Matthews, Assistant Director for Highways and Transport, if they have anything further to add?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, over 40% of our borough residents don't have access to private off-street parking, so this electric vehicle charge point provision is really key. But it is part of the ongoing charging solution, which will continue on over future decades. Further government funding is anticipated towards these sorts of projects, so further phases hopefully will be coming forward, alongside what we certainly hope will be an increasing appetite from the commercial sector as that EV conversion accelerates in the coming years. Nothing further to add, but happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Have we got any questions? No. Can I therefore ask for a mover recommendation?
Councillor Gilby, I so move.
Thank you. And a seconder?
Councillor Bailey, I'll second.
Thank you. Would the mover like to speak?
Thank you, Chair. I'm pleased to propose the recommendations set out in this report. This is a practical and forward-looking step to support the borough's transition to low-emission transport. The shift to electric vehicles is well underway, but for many residents, particularly those without off-street parking, the decision to switch depends on whether they can reliably charge near home. This plan directly addresses that challenge. By securing a concession contract to deliver at least 400 on-street charge points, we are creating the conditions that will give people the confidence to make that change. It's a model that mirrors our approach in other infrastructure areas. The supplier installs, manages and maintains the charge points and in return earns revenue from their use. This ensures that the network expands without creating a financial burden for the council. This proposal also ensures that accessibility is built in from the outset, with all installations required to meet PAS 1899 standards. And by locating charge points where they are most needed, in residential areas, we're focusing on practical benefit, not symbolic gesture. It supports our net zero ambitions, aligns with the local transport plan, and meets a growing need in our communities. I commend the recommendations to Cabinet.
Thank you. Would the seconder like to speak?
Yes, thank you, Chair. I'm happy to second the recommendations. The proposal offers a practical way to support residents in the transition to electric vehicles, particularly those without off-street parking, who often face the greatest barriers to making that switch. The model is financially sustainable, technically sound, and consistent with our wider environmental and transport objectives. It's the right time, the right approach, and I'm pleased to support it. Thank you.
Thank you. Would any other member like to speak? No. Thank you. Another really sensible and well thought out plan. Would you like to sum up?
Nothing to add, Chair.
Thank you. Then we'll vote. All those in favour? And that's unanimous. On to item 11, ICT end user hardware procurement. I believe Councillor Gilby is going to be introducing this report.
Yes, colleagues, pretend that I'm Councillor Jeffreys for a few minutes. This item relates to the procurement of end-user ICT hardware, including laptops, desktops, tablets and accessories, for use by council staff and elected members. The report sets out a proposal to begin a procurement exercise through a public sector framework agreement. The aim is to establish a contract for up to 4 years, allowing the council to purchase equipment as needed in line with our existing IT standards and security requirements. This approach will provide a consistent and efficient route to acquire hardware, ensure value for money, and support ongoing digital service delivery. Subject to approval, the contract will be tendered within the framework with evaluation based on quality, price and delivery capability. Thank you.
Thank you. And then now can I ask Elise Battison, Assistant Director for Digital, Customer Focus and IT, and do you have anything you'd like to add?
Thank you, Chair. As Councillor Gilby has outlined, this is at its core a necessary buying activity. We have a clear set of requirements and specifications, and this provides us with a compliant route to market to meet our procurement directives. I have nothing further to add. Thank you.
Thank you. Do any members have a question they would like to ask of the officer? No? Can I ask a member to move the recommendations, please?
Councillor Gilby, I so move.
Thank you, and I will second. Would you like to speak?
Thank you, Chair. Ensuring our staff and councillors have the right technology is fundamental to how we deliver services. Whether it's supporting a resident query, safeguarding a child, or managing data securely, all of it depends on reliable access to the right hardware. This procurement gives us a structured and efficient route to do that. By using the SBS framework, we avoid unnecessary administrative burden and secure value for money, while also meeting our legal and technical obligations. What I particularly welcome is the built-in consideration for social value. There's recognition that global supply chains come with risks, and the contract requires transparency and ethical standards from providers, something that matters not just to us, but to the communities we serve. The approach balances stability with flexibility, allowing us to keep pace with operational need, while also ensuring that equipment is secure, consistent, and fit for purpose across the organisation. I commend the recommendations to Cabinet.
Thank you, and I would just like to add that we all know the importance of having reliable, up-to-date technology, so that we can all work as efficiently as possible, and this procurement plan will do just that. Would any other member like to speak? No, and if we could therefore vote, all those in favour. Oh, sum up.
Colleagues, I think you're all tired of hearing my voice, so we'll go straight to the vote.
And let's vote. Those in favour. And that is unanimous. And that's the end of the meeting.